What's up everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to share with you my thoughts on my beloved Mayones Regius Core I bought a couple of months ago, give you some insights on how it feels, how well it is constructed, how it sounds, and last but not least I will do a little comparison to my standard Mayones Regius I have in my collection since last year and on which I did a review here on my YouTube channel before. Before I will dive into the specs and share with you my thoughts on this high-end aerodynamic metal Porsche, let's start with a first example on how the Regius Core sounds in the full mix. For the recording I used one of my favorite guitar amp models from NeuralDSP, the Fortin NTS, for both the left and the right guitar track, the Easy Bass from TuneTrack, and the brand new mix-ready GetGood drums One Kit Wonder for the drums. Mayones is very well known as making some of the best guitars for modern metal music, with an outstanding build quality and an inspiring flair for detail. On my Regius, not only the paintwork is made perfectly, there are also no edges between the binding and the wood, the fretwork is top notch, and the glossy finish was polished seamless and feels great in your hands. Together with such attention to detail, like the slightly recessed hipshot bridge or the installed screw threads for mounting the pickups and the backplate, makes Mayones guitars even more stand out from the mass. In addition, their unique Regius design, which is in my opinion a great balance between being timeless, modern but also not too extravagant, is something I felt in love with since a while. Last but not least, the highly contoured carved top of the Regius Core, inspired by a PRS, is surely the cherry on the cake. In the middle of its body is around 4.4 cm thick and rejuvenates on the belly cut to a thin 2.2 cm, which is probably one of the reasons why my Regius Core only weighs around 3.2 kg. Luckily, the limited weight doesn't affect the overall balance of the Regius. It still feels very balanced both while playing seated and while hanging on the guitar strap while staying. The deep belly cut and the carved top are the main reasons why it snuggles perfectly on the body, and the right arm comfortably rests while shredding this beast. Combined with the hipshot bridge as an approved choice which is sturdy and makes adjustments fairly easy, the Regius can be played extensively for hours without signs of fatigue. As my Regius Core was made in 2019, the guitar by default came with the classic Seymour Duncan Jeff Beck hot rodded humbucker set, which is probably not only the best-selling guitar humbucker set in history and can be found on many guitars, but for my personal taste is also always a great choice, which sounds very musical and covers a lot of music styles, including all types of metal, extremely well. The famous Jeff Beck bridge humbucker is made out of Alnico 5 magnets with slightly reduced lows, balanced mids and pronounced highs, and makes the sound of my Regius Core with its transparent acoustical sound played through an amp even more present. Unfortunately, I didn't have the chance to play a new 2020 Regius model, which by default has the Mayones exclusive bare knuckle TKO pickups installed, and therefore can't say anything on how these compare to older models like mine with Duncan pickups installed. Something which didn't change is the control section with a 3-way lever switch, a single tone potty and a volume potty with push-pull function for coil splitting. On how my two Regius, the standard and the core model, differ in sound and playability, I will talk about in a bit more detail later. But now, let's hear a short clean example played on the neck humbucker of the Regius Core. Similar to my standard Regius, the C-shaped neck-through construction made out of 11 layers of maple, mahogany, masakoe and wenge with its flat ebony fretboard is comfortable to play and is slightly thinner than the one on the standard Regius with a thickness of 20mm on the 1st and 22mm on the 12th fret. For example, my standard Regius has a thickness of 21mm on the 1st fret, which might not sound a lot, but is noticeable and which I personally prefer by a little bit. Both of my Regius have perfectly polished and rounded non-stainless steel Fred Wagner jumbo frets installed, which were standard on all Mayones guitars before 2020 and which have been recently swapped for its stainless steel equivalents. Nothing to complain about from my side. In general, all Mayones guitars I played so far had a perfect setup, which is not always the case in all guitar brands, even in this price range. Another standard in the Mayones lineup since a while are the beautiful hipshot locking tuners, which I like a lot, which do a great job when changing strings quickly and which keep the guitar in perfect tune. Before I will come to my final conclusion, let's hear a sound comparison of my standard Regius with my Regius Core, both played distorted on the bridge humbucker and running through the same mastering chain. So which Regius sounded best for you? Personally, I was quite surprised how close they sound on a recording, especially with the different pickups installed. On one side the Seymour Duncan Jeff Beck, on the other side the Seymour Duncan Nazgul, the slightly different body construction and the higher weight and therefore the overall more balanced acoustical sound of the standard Regius. What I additionally should say is that when played through a tube amp, and having the amp in the room feeling, I overall prefer the fuller sound of the standard Regius by a bit, having more bottom end but still sounding anything but boomy, and therefore give you a bit more response, for example when playing palm mutes. If the main reason for this is just due to a varying wood selection or due to the different shape of the standard Regius with its thinner maple top and its less contoured shaping and therefore more body volume, is hard to tell. Anyway, testing out different pieces of your preferred guitar and finding your personal favorite is always a good idea. Similar to the final conclusion I did on my standard Regius a couple of months ago, I can say that the Regius Core is a beautiful instrument with a lot of strengths but also some weaknesses. Of course, design is always a matter of taste, but personally I think that the shape of the core makes one of the best designs out there look even better. In addition, the Regius Core not only looks incredible but also plays, feels and sounds great, comes with a flawless build quality and amazing attention to detail. The Regius is a perfect workhorse, but on the other side isn't cheap, and with a price point starting at around 3,000 euro for a new one or at 2,000 euro used, there are a lot of competitors on the market which might fit even better to your playing, your individual vision of sound and for potentially putting less money on the table. If you think of spending this much money for a guitar, another alternative might also be carrying your savings to your local luthier, letting him build your unique dream guitar based on your selection of woods, hardware and the personal design you have in mind. Did you had the chance to check out Mayones guitars yet? What was your experience? What did you like or maybe didn't like about it? I'm looking very much forward to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you like my video, please support my channel and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon on my channel.